Sweet peas might just be one of the loveliest flowers you can grow. They're climbing vines, an incredible scent, and armfuls of blooms that look like they belong in an English cottage garden. The only problem? They love cool weather, and in my garden in the city of Pittsburgh, it can go from cool and pleasant in the spring to blazing heat in about 5 minutes. Now, I've grown sweet peas for a few years and I've gotten some lovely handfuls of flowers, but I want more. I want walls of sweet peas and I want them to last for more than a couple of weeks. So, today we are starting a bunch of sweet peas together. We're going to talk about what they need to thrive, and I'm running some experiments in my garden to see if I can stretch my growing season by trying different varieties, starting them in different ways, and planting them in different spots around my garden. Let's see if we can find our perfect sweet pea window. Sweet peas are dainty and very, very cute. Their vines can get to be 10 feet tall, and they have very sweet little tendrils along with that intoxicating fragrance. Put a bunch of these in a mason jar and your room is going to smell incredible for days. They love to grow in cool, temperate weather like you get in England or in the springtime in the Pacific Northwest. But they don't tolerate heat well at all. Most of them will shut down entirely once it gets to be above about 80 degrees. For this reason, in my area, it's important to get the growing window just right. There are hundreds of different sweet pea varieties. Breeders have been working on them for centuries. They fall into a couple of different categories. The heirloom or old-fashioned varieties grow a little bit smaller, the plants are a little bit tougher, and they have a really strong, beautiful fragrance. The Spencer varieties are a bit newer in development, and they've been bred for longer stems, larger flowers, and roughly petals. Now, I am growing a bunch of varieties this year, partially because I have almost no self-control when it comes to buying flower seeds, but part of it is because I also want to try these different types and see how they do in my garden. I'm growing mostly Spencers this year just because these color combos and the size can't be beat. But I've got a bunch of heirlooms on the go as well because I gotta have that really strong fragrance. Some of these I've grown before and some of them are brand new to me, which of course makes them extra exciting. Sweet peas are one of the few flowers where you can get true blue blooms that are actually blue. And I have enough variation here that I think I'm going to be able to make some really fun color combos in different places around the garden. Like imagine these lipstick orangey red ones next to the dark blues, or imagine a tangle of pale pink, burgundy, and almost black. It's going to be amazing to watch them come in. Before I plant anything, I'm going to do a quick germination test on some of these seeds because I have a few packets that are left over from a few years ago. And sweet pea seeds normally store pretty well from year to year, but I just want to make sure that they're going to do something before I plant them. I'm going to put them between some dampened paper towels and put them in a plastic bag. And if they're viable, within a few days, I should see some shoots coming out of them. They don't need light to germinate, just cool temperatures and moisture. So I will tuck these away and see who pops out first. Sweet peas in my area are all about timing, so I'm trying a few different methods of getting them started. First up, a couple weeks ago, I winter sowed them. I've never done that before, but they do love cold temperatures, so it seems like it should work. I planted an heirloom variety and a Spencer variety, and we will see if this works for them. Now I'm getting ready to start my seeds inside by writing a bunch of labels and noting whether each variety is heirloom or Spencer for science. Some folks swear by soaking your sweet pea seeds or by nicking them to break up the seed coat and make germination happen faster, but I haven't found either of those steps to be necessary. So I just go straight into moistened soil about an inch deep. I'm using some of my leftover DIY starting mix that I made a few weeks ago, but you can use potting soil for this too. Sweet pea seeds are pretty big, so they don't need that super duper fine texture like smaller seeds do. And because sweet peas like to really stretch their roots nice and deep, I'm using these root trainers to get them started. And because I'm growing so many varieties, I'm also using some of these pots that I got from Bootstrap Farmer. They like to germinate between 50 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and they prefer to germinate in darkness. So I am tucking them away in a cool, dark part of my basement. And I hope to see germination within a week or two. I'll just keep that soil moist, check on them every couple of days, and we'll see how they do. Now, once I see that about 3/4 of them have poked their little green heads out of the soil, I'm going to put them right outside. Yes, outside in February in Pittsburgh. They really do like it cold. And this is where my second experiment is coming in. I'm going to put some of them on my front porch where they will get morning sun and plenty of cool, fresh air. If it drops below 20 degrees or so, I will be sure to give them some sort of protection. I can nestle them up against the wall of my house. I can cover them with frost cloth. I can even put them in a cardboard box or a plastic bin for the night. But any temperature above that, they should be perfectly happy. The green plant part will take a while to grow, but the roots will develop like crazy, and that's exactly what we want. With sweet peas, what you want is a stocky, buff seedling, not a long, spindly one. And you also want to see a really nice, well-branched, well-developed root system. I'm also going to put some up in the greenhouse that I have on my deck. It gets full sun up there, and they'll be protected if the weather gets really bad. The thing I'm going to have to watch out for up there is on warm days, I need to make sure to open the greenhouse cover so they don't get too hot. Next month, when the soil is no longer frozen solid, I'm going to direct sow some little seeds outside too. And I'll keep track of how all of these different methods work out. Once they're ready to be planted out, probably early to mid-April, I'm going to put them in several different places around my garden. Last year, I originally wanted to plant them in my side yard, but I got worried that they wouldn't get enough sunshine there. So I moved them to the back, which was perfect in the spring. But by June, they were fried in the strong afternoon heat. I only ended up getting blooms for a couple of weeks, which was devastating. So this year, I'm trying a few different spots to see where they like it best. First, the original side yard spot. It gets full sun all throughout the morning, and then after around 1 p.m., it's in shade for most of the rest of the day. I'm also going to put some in the corner of my deck, which again gets full morning sun, but is in the shade by 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So a little bit more sunshine than the side yard. The third place I'm going to plant them is in the sitting corner between the 2 chairs, which gets even a little bit more afternoon sun, but is still in the shade by 4 or 5. And then I'm going to put some in a full sun location too, just as a control. Assuming I have enough good seedlings, I might also plant some along my front porch, which is another full morning sun, afternoon shade location. I just think it would be really nice to smell sweet peas every time I come into my house. And as I'm planting these, I'm going to try to include both Spencer's and heirloom in each location to see if that makes any difference too. In short, I am going full nerd on this, and I expect to learn a lot from these experiments. Here's what I'm watching for. How does the starting method affect things? Does winter sowing work well for them? And when will those winter sown flowers bloom? I'm also curious about direct sowing. Is that going to work around here? Or are the critters going to want to eat the seeds? Or are the seedlings going to run out of time to grow before the summer temperatures hit? Once they're germinated, will they like growing on my front porch? Will the morning sun there be enough for them? Or are they going to like it better up in the greenhouse where they're going to get more sun but a little bit less fresh air? And which of the sites gives me the best balance between plentiful sunshine to help them grow, but also protection from the worst of the heat that we start to get in June? And do the different varieties, heirloom versus Spencer, behave differently in each of those sites? All season, I'll be tracking who blooms first, who blooms last, who blooms best, who lasts the longest, both on the plant and in the vase, and which ones do I love the most? And most importantly, can I stretch my sweet pea season? I'm really hoping I can, and I'm hoping that these experiments teach me how. And I will for sure share all of my findings with you, because what else is science for? And if you have any tips for me on how I might be able to stretch my sweet pea season for more than a couple of weeks, please share them with me in the comments. I would love to learn what you know. It's just a few short months until we'll be burying our faces in fistfuls of sweet peas, my friends. And since you stuck around to the end of the video, I wanted to share a little bonus update. You remember those Lysianthus seeds I sowed a couple of weeks ago? A bunch of them have sprouted, and they are the sweetest, teensiest little seedlings I have ever seen. It's all happening! And it's bringing me so much joy to have them upstairs in my living space, where I can talk to them, make sure they have everything they need, and as my good friend Frex says, enjoy every millimeter of growth. Have a great week, my friends. I'll see you in the next one.